Hello everybody, Gary Stuckey here. Welcome back to another episode of Steve Perry News, and happy February to you. And it's still cold out there, even here in Alabama. But today is the 38th anniversary of the release of Journey's Frontiers album. Can you believe it's been that long? An awesome album that contains my favorite song ever, Faithfully. Such a great song. Of course, Separate Ways is on there, Cinder My Love, After the Fall, some rockin' songs on there, Edge of the Blade, Chain Reaction is on there. Just so many songs. I'll talk about it in a little bit, but I've talked about it before in videos. Some of these songs and album titles kind of hinted around to the future. Is it kind of weird? Did it go along with this whole story of Journey, like this journey and this story that happened to fit in Steve's life and Journey's life? I don't know, you tell me. But I do love the video, Separate Ways. It kind of sounds like it's talking about the future. After that album, when they did Raised on Radio, two of the guys were gone. That's Ross, Valerie, and Steve Smith. They were let go. So they went their separate ways, right? The album had some other songs on there, like After the Fall. After the Fall sounds like what happens after this big breakup. Well, what happened after a big breakup? Was Steve talking about Journey? It's weird, Of course, he wasn't talking about them then because it hadn't happened yet. But in that video, it's pretty cool. Check it out. If you'll notice in the video, After the Fall, they're sitting there having coffee, and there's Neil Sean and Steve Perry having coffee. And they all kind of get mad at Steve, and they all walk away, right? But who's the last two guys left at the table with Steve? That's right, Ross, Valerie, and Steve Smith. I don't know, just thinking about that. And one more thing to think about. I mean, it's just cool stuff. Just thinking about stuff. I think about these things. It's just interesting. That album released, of course, on February 1st, 1983, 38 years ago. Well, 4 years to the day, 4 years later, Steve Perry decides he doesn't want to sing with Journey anymore. On February 1st, 1987, Steve sang the last song with Journey on stage, except for the time he did the tribute, in 1991. But that was the last time with the band officially on stage. February 1st, 1987, he just told the guys he was toast, didn't want to do it anymore. And my favorite song is Faithfully. So in that song, it says, "Highway run into the midnight sun, wheels go round and round, you're on my mind." Of course, in the video, the Frontiers and Beyond, that whole thing, they're showing them, they're in a bus and they're traveling through the snow. They're in Alaska. Highway run into the midnight sun, the land of the midnight sun. That is Alaska. And of course, on February 1st, 1983, the album was released. And February 1st, 1987, Highway Run into the midnight sun. That's right. Steve left the band in Alaska, in Anchorage, Alaska. And coincidentally, years later, I was in Alaska in February in the snow. But that's another story. But very interesting stuff happening there, right? But let's take a look at some of the songs, actually all the songs, and let's talk about that a little bit. First of all, let's look at the cover of the Journey Frontiers album, which was released on February 1st, 1983, from an exclusive interview via email with Jim Welch by Scott Sullivan of the Journey www page. Frontiers was a subtle shift. Mouse and Kelly, those are the artists that worked on the previous Journey albums, they were not involved with the cover. My vision for Frontiers was based on tunnels and the relativity of time and motion. Light stays the same, but time bends. It was Einstein's theories for artist interpretations. The alien in Frontiers wasn't really an alien at all. He was a connection to a higher level of listening to Journey. The album reached number 2 on the Billboard 200 chart and would garner 4 top 40 singles. After the Fall reached number 23. Center My Love reached number 23. Faithfully at number 12, and Separate Ways number 8, and a rock radio hit, Chain Reaction. The album would later receive the RIAA certification of 6 times platinum. And the album leads off with the song Separate Ways. And of course, there was a video to that song. You remember that video. Beavis and Butthead thought it was cheesy. There's a story about Steve's girlfriend at the time getting jealous of the girl in the video. That's right. They were at the dock, and Steve was avoiding the pallets and singing his heart out, right? And the guys were jamming with and without instruments. Really cool song. Predicted the future about Separate Ways, though. The next song on that album, Sunder My Love, a song Jonathan Cain wrote about a girl that he met at a concert, but every girl thinks that Steve is singing that song about her. It's a great song, really nice guitar, keyboard, everything's awesome. You know, I really like Steve Smith's drums at the end, that cool little rhythm he's got at the end. Check it out. Love that song. Then the next song on the album is Chain Reaction. Great song too. I mean, you know, it's really a good, got a good beat, good guitar, and I like the way it flows and the harmonies and everything. But the video though, with Steve and Neil and the mannequin, the guys dressed in a tuxedo, I mean, that's pretty cool. But going back to that mannequin with Steve and Neil, that was before the movie Mannequin. You know, they were trying to date a mannequin, which, speaking of which, in that movie, Mannequin, the song from that movie, Nothing's Gonna Stop Us Now, you know who played drums on that song? You guessed it, Narada Michael Walden. That's right. Then there's After the Fall, another song that kind of predicts the future. You got Steve there, sitting at the table with a coffee, maybe waiting for people to have coffee with him. Yeah, there's Neil and the other guys. And like I said before, the last two guys at the table are Ross Valerie and Steve Smith. And of course, Ross Valerie's birthday is tomorrow. Happy birthday, Ross. And then we come up to Faithfully, my favorite song of all time. Just an awesome song. I mean, it starts off with the piano. You know, Jonathan Cain wrote this song. You know, it's about life on the road, being away from family, things like that. And just beautiful. Steve singing, he sings it so well. Neil Sean's guitar is haunting at the beginning of the song after Steve sings. You know, the drums are cool. They're just rolling right along, and the bass, of course. Everything just amazing. It's my favorite song of all time. And of course, the history of Highway Running to the Midnight Sun, of course, that's talking about Alaska, kind of predicts the future, as I said before, and it's very, very cool in that way. And then on the next side of the album, it's like a whole other album because they're a lot different than the first side, which all the hits are on the first side. Second side's more rockin' songs and different kind of styles and more keyboard and guitar mixed in. It's just different kinds. They're really cool. I like them because they're not, you know, played all the time. They're really deep cuts. Edge of the Blade is a real rockin' song. I heard them do it in concert not long ago. It was really cool. And of course, Troubled Child it's got a great melody there. Back Talk is like that Bo Diddley thing going on, and Frontiers. I like the vocals, you know, of course Steve's vocals, but the repeat and the harmony and the echo on that is great. And then Rubicon is another different song. A lot of good guitar on that song. And, you know, the whole album is awesome. Great songs on that album. Every one of them are awesome and individual. Go check out that album today. If you haven't lately, really good album. And also, by the way, according to Herbie Herbert, the longtime manager of Journey, he said that Ainsley Dunbar was hired on this day back in 1974. So happy anniversary to Ainsley Dunbar, the drummer for Journey back in the day. pretty awesome stuff. And all the memories of these songs 38 years ago, it's been a long time. It brings up a lot of memories. It makes you feel good. And even Arnell posted about Steve, you know, check out my last video, or actually a couple of videos ago, I think, where I was talking about Arnell. He hopes that Steve would come back one day. You know, maybe signs point in that direction. You never know. You never know. But that's why you don't stop believing. And until next time, everybody, whatever you do, don't stop believing. This is Gary Stuckey. God bless you.